everyone, my name is Savannah, and today I have some new Prehistoric Kingdom stuff to go over with you. Update 6, a free update for the game, launched earlier today if you're watching this video right when it goes live, March 16th. We have, of course, got our hands on our Paraceratherium. Here you can see them running around in the exhibit, so we'll be taking a very close look at them in this video. We'll also be taking a look at some new rocks, some new trees, donation boxes, and just some quality of life updates that were added with this free update as well. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump into it. Before we take a look at these guys in their habitats, I want to take a look at them in the nursery, starting with this one. So this is our first Paraceratherium. We can see it's stippled is the name of the coloration. Here is the species name. I'll be honest, I have had a long week at work. I'm exhausted and I didn't look up how to say these and I don't even want to try. So here's our first Paraceratherium. Looks beautiful. Not any color differences between male and female, but if you pay attention to the human for scale, you can see that the male is slightly bigger and the female is slightly smaller. That's going to be the only difference between these two. Similarly with this one here, this lenticel, I think is how you say it. Lenticel? Yeah, I think that's how you say it. Hopefully that's how you say it. Only difference is bigger and smaller for these guys as well. They have the same pattern. This is the one that we saw in our sneak peek photo. Of course, it's got these little bumps, an armored plating on the back hip and front shoulder. Very much looks like a rhino plating. This is very similar to what they look like, and I do feel like modeled very closely after them. But looks absolutely gorgeous, much darker in coloration than our first guy here. This one is very, very light, but still love the kind of mottled, speckled detail that this one has on its neck. Darker on top and lighter on bottom, just like this one is. So I think they're gorgeous. Those are our two Paraceratheriums, and we did get one additional animal, an alternate genus, Juxia. This one is a completely different animal and much, much smaller. So it is not a Paraceratherium. It is Juxia. You can see here with our human for scale, there's no difference between male and female other than size again here. But these guys are more of the size of a large horse rather than a massive dinosaur, massive prehistoric mammal, excuse me. These guys are mammals. They have a gorgeous little mohawk on the top of their head, which I think is absolutely perfect. It's so, so good. And the texture in the game is phenomenal. And this coloration is called umber. So there are our three new additions to the game, new Paraceratherium and new Juxia. Let's go ahead and jump back over to the habitat and take a look at them walking around. Let's start with this guy that just laid down because maybe he'll do his rolling for us. They have an absolutely adorable rolling animation. Yes, he's gonna do it. Oh no, he's just gonna nap. Faked us out. So there's the napping animation, still adorable. These guys look absolutely phenomenal. They have really good animations, and if you watch their ears, you can see they actually move them together and separately. So it's those little details that kind of see he flicked one ear there and then the other. Those little tiny details that just make these animals seem so much more alive. And I love watching them. Oh, he's gonna groom himself, lick his shoulder. Adorable. And they use this lip. I give a little shake. They kind of stick their lip out. And it's great. It's just awesome to watch these guys. I will try to catch more of their animations and put them together in a little short or something like that. Here's the rolling animation. He's going to scratch himself a little bit on the ground and then kind of roll on his back a bit. Love it. Absolutely love it. These guys look so, so good. And then, of course, we have to take a close look at our Juxia walking around in the exhibit. There's one over there, but there's also one over here. You can see these guys are much, much smaller. They sound phenomenal as well, but much, much smaller. You could even, if you wanted to, if you grab this one over here, you could pretend like this is a juvenile. I mean, it's not too far off. Obviously, it isn't, but If you wanted to go ahead and throw them in an exhibit and pretend that your prehistoric mammal had some babies, I think it is believable. Much, much smaller in size. But then take a look at that little mohawk. Really cool texturing. You can really kind of see the individual hairs, and it kind of flows in the wind as it kind of walks across. Gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. They have a cool eating animation as well. They kind of open their mouth up, use that lip, stick it way out, and then pin it back down to kind of push. I think you're a little stuck. Let's help you. And then push it back down to kind of push the food back into their mouth. So there is Paraceratherium sticking his tongue out, doing prehistoric mammal things. Absolutely gorgeous. Very excited about them. Next update is actually what this entire exhibit is surrounded with. It is the rocks. I will try really hard to find a good picture of what the rocks used to look like. They didn't used to look bad, but in seeing the new rock textures, I am so much happier. As you can see, hopefully I've found a picture. They were a lot more rigid with sharp edges, and they're just a lot smoother. So if we go over to my pre-set up little rock showcase here, you can see that they have a lot more smoothness to them, and they blend in with one another really, really nicely. You can also see if you take one rock individually and move it around, the texture is not based on each rock or not glued to each rock. I don't know if you can see this. When I'm moving them around, the texture is based on the world map. I think that's the best way to describe it. So you're really just kind of moving this object around on a much, much larger texture. So it does two things. It really makes it so they're not tiled looking when you duplicate rocks over and over and over again, but it also allows you to supersize these way up and not lose any of that pattern texture to them. You can see if you size them way up, we don't get any of that stretching that you got before because the pattern is based on the world map and not on the object itself. Same thing goes for these. As you move them around, you can see the moss kind of stays on the rock but moves around. So you get these different textures, and you can very easily create rock structures that mesh into each other very, very well. You can almost not even tell where each individual rock starts and stops, especially right here. These are actually 3 different rocks that you can see, but they do look like one big rock formation. Very, very exciting. You guys know how much I love to utilize rocks in my habitats, obviously as showcased with this habitat being entirely surrounded by rocks. But we got our moss, our sandy covered rocks, as well as our snow covered rocks. And these rocks are also entirely recolorable as well. So you can make the rock whatever color you want, but you can also make the sand whatever color you want. So you can make some pretty funky looking rocks if you really, really want to. So I think that's great. You can do some really, really white sand on top with dark rocks here for a huge contrast. You can even change the color of snow. You want purple snow? I don't know why you would want purple snow, but you can do it. So there you go, purple snow. Yeah, that's rocks. That's the update to rocks that we are getting or have gotten. And I'm very excited about it. Next, we're going to take a look at our new tree added to the game. If we go right on over here, we have 3 new trees. Well, 1 tree, 3 variations. It's our mangrove tree. Itty bitty little mangrove, medium mangrove, and large mangrove with these spindly long roots that go down into the ground. These are gorgeous. Absolutely love them. I love the detail as always. Not much to say about these other than to just show you what they are. So always excited to get new trees in the game. So moving on to the second to last little update here, we have our donation boxes, small, medium, and large. Ignore this over the top. This path is not actually connected to an entrance, so it's telling me that these aren't usable, but it's okay. I don't like guests in my park anyway, so we can just ignore this. But we have small, medium, and large. And as we kind of went over with the last devlog, The small, medium, and large donation boxes are going to be unlocked with research, and each size can only hold a maximum amount of donations, and they're only emptied at the end of each month. So if this one fills up halfway through the month, you're going to lose out on a bunch of donations because it can't accept any more. So you're either going to have to place a whole bunch of these or upgrade to the bigger one. Love the design on these. I love that they look different than just like singular donation boxes. They are recolorable, of course, and I do believe as they fill up, you get a difference in what they look like, where you can actually see them filling up. At least that is what the picture showed on the last devlog. I haven't actually tested them out. But yeah, there are donation boxes. And last but not least, we need to go over to this little grassy patch because huge quality of life update. If we go into our build items and grab out a wall and place it down, you can see that now there is a border formed around it. Similarly, if we grab some floor pieces, and let me actually just get out of this. There we go. So we can place it right on the ground. It gets rid of the grass. So really nice quality of life update. Whereas before I would have to build things and then go over here to our terrain painting and slightly paint some dirt to get rid of that grass texture. We don't have to do that anymore. And actually one thing that I didn't test out, does this do it with paths as well? It does. Okay, cool. I can't remember if it did this with, I don't think it did it with paths before. But if it did, it does now. So that's exciting. So there you go. You can place down paths or you can place down items on top of the grass and it will create a little bit of a border around whatever you're building and you don't have to worry about that annoying clipping that happened before. So there you go. There is update 6, our free update. So if you do own Prehistoric Kingdom, which I highly recommend, and I believe it's on sale on Steam, if you're watching this when the video goes live, pick it up. I think you will enjoy it, especially if you enjoy management simulation kind of park building games, especially with adorable prehistoric animals like the ones that are in this game. If you've made it this far, you know what to do. Leave a like and a comment down below and hit the subscribe button if you're interested in future Prehistoric Kingdom content. I have a whole bunch of fun links down in the description below, all my social media accounts, my Etsy store, as well as our Discord if you're interested in joining our community, either sharing your build or getting some help, or just talking about video games in general. You can join over there. And until next time, I will talk at you in the next video. Bye!